You want me to say words?
Yeah.
In a structured sentence about what's happening. All right, so we are at our local track, I-57 drag strip. They've got us some lanes prepped, and it's pretty much just us. They put feelers out to see if anybody wanted to test with us. And I guess nobody needs to test in this area right now. So it's just us and Daniel. But then Mitchell's brother might bring his car, or Brandon might bring his car, a couple Mustangs. Got the new flux injectors in, made a tune change to get the spool fixed. The spool's great now. In fact, it's probably faster than it used to be. I'm doing a tune revision where tune 1 is what used to run 590. And then I've gone up on every tune from there. And the only reason I did that is because we do know that just in spool testing, the Exergy 400s at low duration, and by low I mean like sub 1,000 microseconds, seem to act a little bit smaller than the Exergys were, which we knew that going in, so it's not a big deal. So I just figured I'd start from there. So we've got 1,030 microseconds on tune 1, and then it's 1,075, and then it's 1,100, I think 1,150, no. It's 1150, 1200, and the big tune's 1350. I don't think we'll get that high. I suspect that we'll probably end up around 1100 for a 590 tune. I think they're going to be just enough smaller, and the way they build their injectors is just, they plan on running a little bit more duration than what like an Exergy would. So we're just here trying to get that dialed in. Everything else should work the same. We will be getting new tires for this. They don't make these Mickey Thompsons anymore. They only make them in a stiff sidewall. And they only make, let's see, stiff sidewall, a W. We don't run W's. We could, but we don't. Or a radial. So we're switching to the Hoosiers. I don't expect it to be any different. If anything, it'll probably 60 foot harder. I do think those Hoosiers are probably a slightly better tire. So that'll be something else we'll have to test. But as long as the truck runs close on these tires when we go for UCC race, it should not be an issue. So anyways, almost unloading the tune. Mitchell's got to get bottles moved around, and we might do a quick spool test just to make sure it's good. And then Daniel's working on updating his firmware on his nitrous controller so that he can load his new nitrous tune for racing. I think he's going to do fuel only the first pass or two, just to make sure it's going to leave on the staging limiter. So anyways, we'll get everything ready to go, and then we'll start making some passes.
McDonald's is trash.
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But it's so good.
Yeah, it's terrible. But, like, you know, we needed a lot of food and kind of in a sort of hurry. You know, those would be way better if it didn't take me 20 minutes to get with them.
I think they're better when they're like lukewarm.
Really?
Warm and soft.
What a psycho. He's a serial.
It's like room temperature water. It's just way better.
That's the old 590 tune. What was the mile per hour? 114. So it's definitely down.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how good you clean it, you're never gonna get it all out.
Austin's like, there's no dirt in it at all.
Our
Like,
wrap guy was like, man, you guys got a bunch of dirt in this, and he spent like, he said he spent an hour or two cleaning it. He's like, ain't no way there's dirt left in it.
They got like 15 pounds of dirt out of it.
Dirt all the way down the track. So luckily it's our rental and it's not a big deal. Like honestly, I'm not even gonna tell them to worry about dragging it. It's not worth it. So what we did there is, instead of having to retune it, I went ahead and I made a tune. Tune 1 is the old 590 tune, which I believe I told Everett earlier. And then from there I went up because we knew going in that these injectors might be just a little smaller at low duration. Now as duration goes up, they start matching the 400s from before. So we used to go down the track at 1,030 microseconds, which is what that was. The next tune is 1,075. The next one is 1,100 or 1,150. So we'll probably skip 1,075 because I don't think 45 microseconds is going to make a difference. Probably go straight to that 1,100 to see what it runs. That'll get us in the ballpark. And this is a lot more realistic to like what it's going to be like probably at UCC, where 85, it's sunny, the track's prepped pretty good. So this is a lot better than, you know, like a Friday night test session where the track is trash after a couple passes. So we'll go back, I'll pull the log, make sure everything looks good there, and then hopefully Daniel goes up, makes a pass here, and his truck does what it's supposed to do. So I'm basically here to help with whatever they need help with. We as Maverick Diesel
today.
Do what?
Strictly tuner Paul today.
Strictly tuner Paul today. Logan Epley actually tunes that truck. I'm not the tuner of that truck, but I am helping with the nitrous setup a little bit as far as getting it programmed for him. And then any suspension change it might need, whether it be shocks or tire pressure, anything like that, we're going to help with what we can. He's just getting prepared for UCC because he's actually competing. So we'll see what his truck does, and we'll go look at data log. Pretty tired because you can see like it kind of tried to spin, and then it stuck and went. Yeah. And then cover the track here. I mean, it rolled out decent. I don't think they had, from what it looked like, they didn't even start the nitrous till 1 second. So basically it came into power and it didn't command to shift soon enough. See, I mean, well, it rolled out and it sounded like it was going to come into power good, and it just did shift.
Yep. I guess I'm going to try, that was tune 2 on the anteater. I haven't tried it yet. So I thought that was the one that we had set up. That's what he told me to do. So.
Do you have the anteater file where you can pull it up?
Probably. I could probably
yeah, is it a new anteater?
It's a Pro, whatever.
Yeah, I should go and read it off too if need be.
Okay.
So we can read it off and see where it's commanding it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This the whole time. But I mean, that's 1,030. Timing is where we want it. Rails where we want it. FCA, like pump's not even trying. So yeah, Mitchell's looks perfect. Oh, it was a ton.
How much come out of mine?
Yours not bad. No, yours fine.
But they didn't leave.
Yeah, his
Dude,
his still. Honestly, it was like the first pass ever again. You should message Austin and be like, "What the f***, man? You said this was clean." Yeah. And be like, "I'm just kidding. We know it's not going to be clean." All right, let me get.
Honestly, I was worried about that on mine. Like, I went through the car wash last night.
It's our track rental, so the only thing we're going to piss off is us, and we're doing it too. So
yeah.
Do you have an anteater cord, or I need to grab mine? Yeah, so what we like to do as far as coming to the limiter, because you have a button, it's not a trans brake, but as long as you're standing on the brake, your brake should hold it. Right. So what I like to do is, we'll come up, and you were doing it a little bit, you know, bringing it a little bit high idled. Once your first ball, bring it up to like, let's say 1,500 or 1,600. and then from there smack it. And so that helps with it coming up quicker because it doesn't give the converter stall speed, like stall time to get a hold of the engine.
So smack it faster?
Yeah, I don't know, what's your spool? Like a 48 or something, 52?
I had no spool. That was fuel only.
Oh, it's fuel only. Oh, okay. Well then, I mean, it should do the same thing still, but
yeah.
You may have to do it the way you did it then.
Yeah.
I was thinking that you had a spool jet. Okay.
No, we just did it that.
Are you still 485?
485.
I didn't know if you switched to GT55.
No.
Got a 1716.
That's slow.
30 miles an hour.
It's just not commanding it to shift or something's not heavy. 30 miles.
Look at that 60 foot, 313.
Let's get this in.
Honestly, I almost cut a decent light, but it bogged when I gave it throttle.
You're right. I'm gonna go run mine now.
As long as you have a helmet, they probably won't take it.
What an absolute burner. All right, Mel, is this your time to shine?
Apparently. He might go down crooked, but we'll see. He'll go down.
It'll straighten itself out.
Nobody move.
Does it feel good?
Cooper, you gotta lay off the Michelob Ultras.
Gotta lay off that apple juice. Gotta lay off the apple juice.
Too much. It's all Mel's fault. She messed it up.
I know.
Yeah, he had, when he let off of the, Mitchell,
Yeah.
when you hit the trans brake, you had enough rollout that you rolled into the second bulb.
Okay.
So you need to, when you roll in, you need to roll really slow into the first bulb and just barely light it up, hit the trans brake button, spool, let the truck settle, hold the brakes, bump, let off the brakes, and then go. Good thing he's not running nitrous, because those would have all been backfires and would have all been engine problems.
Probably have a motor laying on the track right now.
All right, Paul, what are we doing?
Stuff and things. Standing underneath the shade. So Mitchell's truck is pretty close. We have recently developed a hop. We've changed nothing and suddenly we're hopping. Now, that being said, we only have that issue at this track, so I don't know what the variable is here. I made a couple shock changes and we'll see what happens, but as far as time goes, Tune 1 only went 114 miles per hour, which we know is too slow, it's not enough power. I skipped Tune 2 and went to Tune 3, which is 1100 microseconds. So it went from 1030 to, sorry, I keep saying 1100. It's 1150. Went from 1030 to 1150. and we went from 114 to like 119.6, so basically 120, which is technically too much mile per hour. We need to be about 117 or 118. So tune 2 is 1,075, which would be close. I feel like I probably just need to bump it to 1,100, so it's a nice round number. Let's see. But we know his is in the ballpark. We got 5 rounds of qualifying at UCC, so we'll keep making passes and try to figure out the suspension. I'm not worried about the mile per hour and ET until we get there to qualify. Daniel's truck, however, is not shifting, and they switched from a manual file to an auto file, put the TTVA motor back on, but looking at the log, the commanded to actual does not make sense at all. So he did have his, I assume it's a Logan built TTVA bracket thing, or it's the fire pump one of the two. Don't know whose it is, but basically what that does is that is a very fine adjustment on how far you want your throttle valve actuated. And the truck previously had that on it and it shifted, and they switched to this, and now we have a shifting issue. So I told him I think the best thing to do would be let's go back to what worked, make another pass, see what happens. If it starts shifting, then the truck will start working and we can actually start putting power to it. Right now he's just been running on tune 2 with no nitrous, 1,000 microseconds, not a whole awful lot of timing in it, probably 11 to 1,200 horsepower worth of fuel. I don't actually remember what his fuel system is, but basically we try to get it working with without nitrous, so that we don't go out and not shift and backfire and break things. So we'll get this thing, try to get it figured out, keep trying to figure out where the bounce came from on this that it didn't used to have, and we'll go from there.
Racing Daniel Hargrove.
I don't get it. Like, it's got to either be an anteater setting is not right, or the TTVA motor's not right.
I mean, we took the TTVA motor.
Did he say what tune he was going to put the trans on? Tune 1 or 2?
He said 1. I don't know if he ever changed it though.
Well, it defaults to 1.
Oh, okay.
So every time you start the truck, it defaults to 1, and you have to change it from there.
Okay.
So angry.
I was wiping off the front tire, and I stand up as he's pulling forward, gets whacked the fuck out of my head.
It sounds more angry than it is. It makes basically no horsepower, but it sounds pissed.
Well, I lost this off the bike somewhere. What? And then here's your hat that I ran over twice, once with the truck and once with the dirt bike.
What'd you lose?
This fell off somewhere.
Where'd my hat go?
You know, I had a good rattle there for a while.
And then it was like kind of shaky-ish a little bit, not shaky, but like...
Hey, my flat bill is quite flat now.
Like it's definitely a flat bill.
Yeah. Is it loose?
Yeah, bad.
Well, the other thing would be is if it broke those threads.
I bet it did.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's kicking.
On the rail itself?
Yeah, it broke the rail.
I was really hoping we get to blame
I've got a spare one at the shop.
It's definitely Keaton's fault.
It's got to be Keaton's fault.
Yeah.
It's Keaton's fault.
Are you using the dual feed, or are you just single feeding it?
No, he's got a block off on it.
Because I've got the one off that red 6.7 like fucking random ass engine I had. Remember that?
Yeah, but the problem is he's got to have it because it's relief valve. I mean, if you want to keep testing, we can run back and get my rail.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the...
He's got
the one off
rail.
the racetrack.
Hey, you know what though? At least it's here.
That's common though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've had one do it. I know
like
of
that.
several people.
You know whose fault this really is?
Keaton's.
No.
Damn it.
Jordan Marcel's.
Fucking, you know what?
He bought the rail.
What a piece of shit. You're right, let me call him. Get him on honker.
Perfect.
Yeah, that was great.
Cooper! Cooper!
Hell yeah.
Cooper, Cooper, hey, good work, buddy. Good work, buddy.
You're sure crop.
I didn't realize he was up there.
Come on, buddy.
I'm like, oh fuck. Just grabbed him.
Good job, Cooper.
He goes, thanks. Okay, so what do we have here?
Fixed.
Fixed?
Yeah, we went and got my rail, put it on, got it running, loosened the throttle valve actuator. We talked to Levon. I know enough about anteaters to know anteaters, but I don't deal with them every day, so I forget. So I called and talked to him, figured out where we needed to be, made a change, and he's gonna go see if it shifts now. So the anteater settings are where they need to be for the setup, but the throttle valve was too tight, so it wasn't allowing it to shift. So we took some throttle valve out of it, and we'll see if it shifts. If it shifts, I would think that this tune should run a 680, 690, and then from there you can turn the nitrous on and actually start making some power. It's got to shift before we can put power in it. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, Mitchell's truck doesn't suck. It went 592, 594, 592, all between 118.5-ish and 119.2. So not bad for middle of the day. We got rid of the balance it had. I took a couple clicks out of rebound and I think compression. I don't remember. I have to go back and look, but anyways, it's fixed. So should be good to go on that now. Mitchell's just gotta keep trying to cut a light. He's getting real mad at himself because he keeps cutting like the same light.
Just do better.
He swears it's the track.
It is. It's a tune, more than likely.
Where's my finger? All right, $10 to guess whatever number he runs.
No.
Come on.
What's he running?
590.
Wasn't he doing? What was he doing before?
592, 594, 592.
I'm gonna say 593.
Oh boy. Oh, not 593.
It's spun a little bit, which this side is not prepped as much. And then on top of that, he keeps leaving dirt and he's running through his own dirt. And I think his bottle's getting low too, because that was only 117. It's okay though.
No $10 for you.
Yeah, Jake, that's the same reaction.
It's literally the same. I don't know what I'm doing wrong that I can't get it better.
Oh, your 60 foot wasn't as bad as I thought. It was a 138.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on the top end.
Well,
I was
you're almost out of nitrous. I mean, bottle pressure might not be that low,
Yeah,
but
but it's
that's 6 passes.
Oh yeah, true. That's
6 passes on one bottle. We're down almost 2 miles per hour. I'd say we're getting low.
I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't know if I'm just. I have my hand like that, and I'm like, wait. As soon as I see the first bulb, and I'm like off it. You know what I mean? And just more seat time.
I don't know.
Like I don't know.
Just keep trying. One day it'll click, and you'll be like, I don't know what I changed, but I got it.
It's gonna change. It's gonna happen at UCC because I'm getting real f***ing pissed off.
692 you let out.
692,
That's not bad at only 85. That's actually pretty good. All right, well, go back down and tell Danny we're gonna keep making rips unless it's leaking fuel. Because all we need to do now is lower the shifts. It's making the shift, they're just too high. Or I'll back that TV thing out some more.
We call Danny, he's got phone.
I don't have my phone. My phone's being a draggy right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, we had some rail pressure issues with Daniel's truck. Finally got them all sorted out, I think. It's got my rail on it because his rail broke. We're working on trying to get the trans to shift. The last pass, it made the 1-2. It almost made the 2-3, let out, it shifted, and he went through the traps and went 692 to 85. So if it'll shift, I think this tune should go like a 670. They went ahead and took all the tree and stuff down, and we're just using my draggy for the time being. I think the 2-3 just needs to move down because the 1-2 was great, lockup was great. I think the 2-3 is just too high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, we don't even need Danny here other than, I think he needs to be here. We'll have him come back. We'll see what the time was. That was a better pass than the first run, so I would expect it to be like a 680.
Yeah.
And then we can lower the 2-3 shift, see what that does, and then at least he can go back if he wants to go home, knowing that it will make the shifts on at least that tune.
Yeah.
And then I think as he increases power, he's going to have to lower shift speed because the ramp rate through each gear is going to get there so quick. By the time the anteater commands it, and then it hydraulically happens, it takes a minute. Okay, so update, we are back from the track. It's actually midweek. We're getting ready for UCC. Just wanted to kind of recap our test day with Daniel Hargrove and Mitchell's truck. Mitchell's truck, we made a couple quick changes before we even went to the track. And basically we got spool up where it needed to be, made the first pass. It went 612 at 114, which is way down. It was like 5 mile an hour low. So we bumped it from tune 1, which is what we used to run on. It was tune 3 when it was in there before. And then I had already made a tune that had small increments of fuel increase because I knew we were probably gonna be a little slow. We jumped straight from 1 to 3, and the next pass, the 60 foot was a little off. I don't remember what happened. Oh, I had the bounce that we fixed. 612, 602, 592, 594, 592, 597, and then all the 590 passes were between like 117.8 and 119.2. The last pass was the 117, and bottle pressure was okay, but the bottle itself was down to the last 4 pounds, which we usually try not to run it that low. By the time you're getting there, I don't think it's air, but it doesn't seem to be as good as when the bottle's fresh. So I think that's where some of the mile an hour went. Daniel's truck, he kind of just showed up for us to kind of help guide him in a direction, as well as just he needed a track to test out. He knew we were going to test. So tried to help him. His anteater shift points I think were just too high. We ended up swapping the TTVA motor out for the actual throttle valve adjuster that comes from either Firepunk or Logan Yelton, I'm not sure which that one's from. So we set that back how it needed to be, and then it started shifting the 1-2. And then the 2-3, it almost made it on one pass. And then I think they ended up going back home, moved all the shift points down quite a bit, and it made the 2-3 shift at least once. So the trans itself seems to be functioning. The problem seems to be in just the amount of time it takes from the commanded mile per hour to when it happens, which is pretty normal. We kind of run that issue from time to time on my race truck when it had the anteater on it that we used for lockup, and we used it for overdrive. You know, my overdrive would be way too far. We had to keep dialing it back until we realized there's like, on the overdrive shift, there's like a 15 mile an hour difference from when it would command it to when it would happen. Just because by the time you're there, you've got so much power in it, it's not an 800 horsepower street truck. So anyways, Daniel's truck I think is going the right direction. Mitchell's truck is dialed in, ready to go, and then we're working on getting my truck at least done enough that it'll look nice even if it doesn't run, and get everything packed and head out to UCC. So hopefully we'll see you guys there.